Everyone, thank you so much for logging in this evening. We appreciate your time. Again, my name is Gina Knight, and along with me this evening is Susan Scatchell, and she'll be presenting to you tonight and giving you a bit of an overview about the National Aging in Place Council and our Chicagoland chapter. Just a little background on Susan. She's a seasoned business development professional with experience in many areas of the elder continuum and aging in place. She has represented the home care industry and elder space for over 20 years. She currently enjoys working for Gentle Home Care, which is a leading home agency located in Deerfield, Illinois. She also serves on the board for the Illinois chapter of Home Care Association of America as the chair for the subcommittee of advocacy and communications, and is very involved in legislative initiatives for advocating home care services in Illinois. She's a regular presenter for the Alzheimer's Association and as a volunteer community educator. And she is also an active member in the National Aging in Place Council for the Chicagoland chapter for the past year with us. So Susan, take it away, and why don't you tell everybody a little bit more about NEIPC.
Thank you for that warm introduction and welcome. It's great to have these series because you really get to know us as we build momentum and gain on the knowledge week after week for the next 4 weeks. The National Aging in Place Council, I'm going to just share with you what our mission is. It's all about education, and our goal is to empower families and communities in the area to live safely, independently, and comfortably in the home of your choice for as long as you choose. We are a group of licensed professionals, business owners, and advocates who are committed to providing programs like this, outreach, educational meetings to inform and educate the older adults, their families, and elder care professionals about senior-focused businesses and resources. We have all been vetted, and we're all required to have a criminal background check before we are admitted to the National Aging in Place Council. Essentially, we're a group of individual professions that touch the older adults somewhere along the aging process. We collaborate and we work together, and we find that we can help a lot more older adults live more comfortable lives by providing multi-dimensional services from a number of different providers. That's why it's great we all work together. We've learned from experience and networking that we have this great network of resources to offer you and the individuals who want to age in place. Currently, there are 15 chapters in the United States, and many more are in the formation stages. And we have 30 members in our chapter right now. Happy birthday, Boomer. Every day for the next 20 years, 10,000 of us are turning 65 years of age. We are aging rapidly. There are over 56 million Americans over the age of 65. And by 2050, that number will reach 84 million. And we are living longer. Currently, there are 7 million Americans over the age of 85. By 2050, that number will reach 19 million, more than double in 30 years. So look at the graph. What is significant about the year 2035? By 2035, that will be the first time in history the older adults are projected to outnumber children under the age of 18. This is huge as our population triangles from being bottom heavy to top heavy. So what does aging in place mean? This is a term used to describe a person living in a home of their choice for as long as they are able to age. It encompasses the ability to access services, assistive tools, or other support that they might need in a person's chosen residence over time as their needs change. With aging in place, you need a master plan. Aging requires a review of each of these components. Housing, which changes in how you want to live safely. Health and medical, which is the status now and what your needs might be after maybe an illness or a medical event, such as a fall or stroke or COVID. Financial and legal, which are your elder lawyers, your accountants, and your financial planners. Transportation, what if you can no longer drive and you're looking at community transport, PACE buses, Ubers, taxis, volunteer services. Community and social access, this is your technology. Do you have interaction with the outside world if you're homebound? You need to tap into your library delivery service. And what about social groups and activities that are available to you now when you can get out? What are your interests and what are your hobbies? Tonight, we're going to focus on the housing piece of your master plan and explore some options for you to age in place. And now Gina is going to take the program.
Thank you so much. So today we're going to focus on home modifications, which I break down into 3 categories: tidy up, design and home modifications, and managed home services. So let me explain a little further about each one. So tidying up. Tidying up is to stay safe in your home as we age. Older adults often need tidy up services. And what that means is as our mobility change, we need to make sure that there are no obstacles in our home, that we can create a situation to prevent any fall, or more importantly, that we're also not relying on unsteady furniture and or piles as a resource for the stability to get to and from, let's say, the bathroom or the bedroom. One of the other worst things is throw rugs. Throw rugs should be removed from your home as they are the #1 cause of falls. Secondly, design and home modifications. So redesigning our current home along with the necessary age-in-place modifications. Bathrooms are the most common, followed by bedrooms, kitchens, and laundry areas. This can also include grab bars, chair lifts, things of that nature. And then home managed services. Some older adults prefer not to handle the management of their home, or they have always relied on a spouse who may no longer be with them at one time, and they were handling these things for them. You know, I always say that if you don't manage your home, it's very similar to managing your health. You don't take care of your health, you decline. Well, your home is very similar. If you don't take care of the home, it will also decline, which means the value of that home will also decline. So a home management company can provide a professional service to manage the home, things like lawn care, snow removal, seasonal cleaning of your heating and air conditioning, annual checkups as well. Keeping your home running properly and maintained is so important. All of this helps you retain and enhance the value of that asset. Addressing even the smallest concerns, like for instance, water. Water creates all kinds of damage. A small attic leak can turn into a nightmare and be a huge problem in a mold situation very, very quickly. So to successfully age in place, you need to have a plan. We cannot stress that enough. A plan needs to include housing and financial planning. With the tremendous amount of advancements in medicine, the average life expectancy has increased over time. So people are living longer, and therefore aging in place can become more expensive. It's best to determine what is the right budget for you and your family. The ratio used to be 87% of older adults wanted to stay in their homes, but with COVID, that statistic probably has changed dramatically. It's probably in the low 90s and maybe even higher. Many more are choosing to stay at home longer now as well. The continuum of care is growing, and most older adults want to live with dignity and self-respect and continue to feel part of their community where they have worked or lived for so many years. But the question still remains, should I move to a community or should I stay at home? Consider that the cost of home modifications, how many hours of care you might need per day. Although home modifications can be costly, they tend to be much more affordable over time simply because the construction is completed and you're able to remain at home for a long period of time. But in most instances, when you do updates to your home, they can also provide value to your home for the resale value. So a lot of times people have not done updates in their home. So when they make these changes to their home, as long as they're working with someone who's looking at your long-term plan, they're going to make the right changes to your home such that they'll actually add value to your home. So for instance, you wouldn't want to do a pink kitchen because most people are not going to be looking for a pink kitchen. So as long as somebody's looking at that long-term plan for you, you want to make sure that they're doing a change to your home that works for what your mobility needs are, but also the bigger picture, which is going to add value to your home. The fees when you move into a senior living community remain constant. So that monthly price that you pay over time may even increase. That is why people say and refer to aging in place as being a great option for you, should that be possible, simply because when you pay for construction, it's done and it's a one-time expense. If you choose to go into a senior living community when you're still able to stay at home, you end up ultimately potentially paying more in the long run. Also keep in mind the reality that there is a shortage of care providers. You need to choose a reputable, licensed agency. Hiring caregivers on your own can be very risky. It can be stressful if someone doesn't show up. With a licensed company, they're going to take that stress out of the equation by providing a caregiver, even when that regular provider becomes ill or has some sort of a last-minute emergency. Susan can attest to that because that's what their entire business is all about. It goes without saying that all of America and around the world are experiencing something that we've never experienced before, people being separated from their family and friends. The anxiety about safety and the well-being of ourselves, parents, as well as that extended family and friends. And finally, God forbid we have another health crisis. I hope many of you out there are hopefully going to get the vaccine soon. And hopefully we can all look at what the future, where we can all start socializing again. That will be very helpful. You have to remember that all the retirement money in the world is of no value if someone is separated from their family. And this picture depicts that very well. The pandemic has resulted in rethinking our current and most likely future priorities. Our spending habits are changing. They'll be based on more practical and value-based decisions. Less domestic and international travel, along with a general rethinking of where, when, and how we're going to spend our money. The enhanced awareness of our homes as our most valuable asset, and a newfound respect for having an age-in-place plan. Again, plan with specific living arrangements for ourselves, our family, and our friends. That immediate concentration on telehealth and the connectivity capabilities of our homes are just amazing. I'm sure many of you out there have also already experienced what telehealth is, and it's a wonderful thing for the future. And rethinking potential options for multi-generational living. So multi-generational living is living with other family members. So multi-generations living under one roof. So with that being said, we also need to understand the reality of aging with the proper perspective of being, quote, unquote, forever young. Some 90-year-olds can actually ski in the Rocky Mountains. However, on the other hand, many 65-year-olds can no longer drive or have difficulty getting dressed in the morning. 1 in 4 Americans 65 and older are going to require hospital care each year. So like planning for all stages of life, we need to plan and prepare to age in place living at a much younger age. Honestly, my rule of thumb is the minute you turn 50, you got to start thinking about what is your plan, because a crisis could take place at any time. And, as we age, our needs change, and that whole forever young, you have to keep in perspective. And it's important to understand that going forward. So as I mentioned, you're seeing that telehealth has quickly become more available for medical doctors, clinical psychologists, physical and occupational therapists, and a growing number of medical and non-medical professionals. These advancements, along with smart technology, if you have a smart TV, you know what I'm referring to, and the on-demand delivery to your home by the Amazons of the world, you can literally get anything brought to your home these days. So having that age-in-place plan is now become a reality and our first option for long-term living. So age-in-place best practices start with a certified aging-in-place specialist. So an aging-in-place specialist is someone who's a certified designation from the National Association of Home Builders. The program provides ongoing education, teaching the technical, business management, and skills required for professionals working with seniors to safely and securely have them stay in their homes. So when I'm explaining this, I like to use this Venn diagram to explain logistical components of successfully aging in place. So beginning first and foremost with the comprehensive certified aging in place assessment plan, then working with the following components as they relate to the person. So if you look at the plan, you'll see the residence of choice on your lifestyle, family and friends, your home modifications designed for long-term functional living, and managed in-home medical care and caregiving support. All those things that you may need, and they may change over time. You may start with a plan that maybe is a small sector of these people, but then in the future, as things change, whether it be health or mobility, whatever the situation might be, the people who are working with you could change. So feeling safe and connected to your community is also another big part of this whole plan, the master plan, if you will. So the best components of aging in place is your professional team, and each one brings their unique experience. So for instance, you'll see, as I mentioned, a CAPS certified. So that's the certified aging in place home designer who provides home modification. You're going to want to make sure you have someone on your team who's an elder law attorney to provide those additional documents and things you might need. Powers of attorney, wills, trusts, you name it. Financial planners, so there's equity options. You might want those equity options maybe to pay for your care. It could be for those home modifications. It could be lots of things. But again, these are people that need to be part of your plan. That in-home health care, whether it be medical or non-medical, and occupational and physical therapists. Again, these are other people that are also part of your team. So as you can see, these are the stages and ages of where your home can be prepared for aging in place. Everyone has so many ideas of what they want to change in their home and their lifestyle. The stages may also include an updated bathroom, the way your kitchen space works, or possibly the entrance to your home. All those things, when you look at this diagram, it can show you how all of that will work. If you're in a young age, or if you're in a younger age category, let's say those from 40 to 55, for example, you might want to look at what we call universal design guidelines. So we want to make sure that we create your home to cover the needs that you might have in a future age, so that as things change, it's very easily can make some adjustments as the progression continues. So the goal is to make the space convenient, secure, and operational, not only for everyone who's living in the home, but also those who are visiting your home. That's also a big component as well. So to help better understand the process, my company developed 3 levels of aging in place because every home and lifestyle is so unique. So level 3, for instance, might look something similar to this layout that you're looking at. And these are some very extensive changes that can be made to a home. Again, it's always going to depend on what your financial situation is and what your long-term plan is. So back to that plan again, how long are you planning to stay in the home? Are you living alone? Maybe you've lost your spouse. So maybe your plan is shorter term and you'd prefer to be in the senior living community. Or you could be that person who says, I'd like to live here forever. I don't ever want to leave. And therefore, then it's a long-term plan. So again, the reason I do 3 different levels, it kind of breaks it down and helps you understand There's many different ways to look at aging in place and the different levels that we can do. Even somebody with limited financial resources, we can create a version of what we say our levels are 1 through 3 and have an integrated design providing that age in place plan that's best for that individual family. So let me give you an example of what level 1 is. So level 1 provides some basic safety options. So for instance, as you see here, at least one bathroom on your first floor. You're going to want minimum 32-inch clearance for doors. Does anybody know why you want minimum 32-inch clearance? The reason is as you're going through a door, whether it's with a walker or even a wheelchair, the reason you want that clearance is because why? Your hands are on the outside and you won't be able to physically get through that door unless it's wider. You might want to be widening hallways for medical beds, etc. You're going to be looking at those grab bars for the bathroom and your shower areas. And an adjustable handheld shower head is one of the most wonderful things in the world. I think I have a picture here. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't. So a handheld shower head, what's wonderful is it's good for you, and it's especially good if you do have a caregiver. It makes things so much easier. It keeps water in the shower area where you want it to be. Also, if you have the need for a medical bed, for instance, it's very easy to convert an existing dining room into a bedroom. And you could easily put on some temporary French doors that can easily be removed should that situation change. You could be coming home from, let's say, a hip surgery, and for the next 6 months, you might need to have your bedroom on the first floor, or you have a medical bed. And these are real simple changes that can be made throughout the home. These are some other wonderful things. So simple changes that can make a huge difference in safety. So lever door handles are wonderful because you can use your elbow, you can use your whole hand as like a paddle, and it's so much easier than doing that rounding motion of trying to do a circular doorknob. So the paddle switches, so you'll see rather than a switch where if you have rheumatoid arthritis, for instance, using the dexterity of your fingers like this is much more difficult than if you were to hit a paddle. Again, you can use your elbow, you can use your forearm, whatever works best for you. And then the lighted hallways. So these are the stairs that not only light a light above you, it also is a lighted path for you. And that makes things so much easier as well. Some other great ideas. So closets. For whatever reason, we have lots of clothes, and the last thing I want you to do is get on a step stool. These are wonderful additions to any closet. This is just a bar that pulls down. You can see the picture on the left. It'll show you how the mechanism actually works. The lady on the right is showing you that little pull bar. And basically it's a pull down motion. And then next thing you know it, those shirts are literally not only at eye level for you, but they're actually closer to you. So you're not even reaching for them, which is even more wonderful. Everybody should have these. Ramps. So ramps, switching a door area to a ramp is amazing. So you'll see the different options here. So for instance, the one on the top left is a simple ramping system for an exterior door. And the one on the right, the larger picture with the gentleman with the shoes on there. So it's showing you that it could be a wheelchair, it could be a walker, all these things that you're just trying to avoid what traditionally would be a tripping hazard, right? So this makes it so much easier to get in and out, especially if it's a wheelchair. The one on the bottom left there is more significant. So an exterior going out onto, let's say, a porch area could be a 4 to 6 inch variance. And so you're going to need something similar to this picture here that gives you a little more height, if you will, to get out. This particular one is wonderful because it can be out in the weather and it won't rust. They're made to be on the outside. So again, we talked about smart technology that has allowed us to have those smart TVs where you can easily talk with your family at any time just by talking through the phone. It's wonderful. And this can work through your entire home. Smart technology also has so many devices, and you can see from that picture there, it's showing you it could be security cameras, it can control your blinds, your thermostats. I'm sure you've seen commercials for the Nest thermostats. Those are wonderful additions to the home. It can control lighting, appliances, it controls your outdoor irrigation, all those different things. And they even have them now that control your lock, so you no longer even need to use a key. So let's talk about level 2. As I mentioned, there's levels 1 through 3, and 1 being some of the simple things, 2 little more things that can be done in the home. Of course, it requires a little more money to do these things as well. So the first thing we talk about is an outswing door for rescue access. And what that means is, think about the bathroom in your own home. The door typically opens in. I'm sure 99.99999% of you have the same exact door that it opens into the bathroom. So think about it. You go into the bathroom, you close the door. What if you were to fall? If you fall, no one will be able to get in that door, because what will happen is you'll be up against the door. So there'll be no way to quote unquote rescue you. So what we do is we recommend that you do an outswing of the door. So that means the door is switched so that when you go into the bathroom, the door actually opens out into the hallway versus into the bathroom. So should there be a fall, it's so easy to get to somebody and rescue them. 0 threshold entrance. Again, that goes back to those ramps that I just showed you. Those ramps will help you not have to step over a threshold. So it's that mobility, it's giving you the ability to easily, either if mobility is a concern, you're shuffling over, you're using your walker, your rollator, or you're in a wheelchair. And again, this makes it turn into a 0 threshold. A tub with a 15-inch transfer surface. So what that means is there are devices that can be, let's say you do not want to remove your tub versus a roll-in shower, but there's a surface that can be put across your tub so that you can sit safely as you begin the swinging process of your legs versus sitting on the edge of that tub. You sit on the edge of that tub, you have to remember it's only a couple inches wide, right? And as steady as we think we are, they're also very slippery, and you very easily could fall, slide into the tub, slide out of the tub, and then we have a potential break of something. So there are these 15-inch transfer surfaces that can be added to a tub area should you decide that you'd like to keep the tub in your home. Comfort height toilets at 19 inches. You'd be amazed what a couple inches will do for you. Most toilets in an average home range from 15 to 16 inches. So having those extra few inches makes things so much easier of getting on and off, especially if you're assisting somebody. So let's say you're helping your spouse because maybe they had a surgery or something and you're assisting them. It makes things so much easier. 30-inch clear space to one side of the toilet. So what that is referring to if somebody is assisting you and you're rebuilding a bathroom, you have to make sure that you don't enclose that toilet room such that nobody can actually get in there with you. Because let's just say you're in there and a problem occurs, now it's difficult for someone to help you get out. So we refer to it as a clear space next to the toileting area so that someone can assist you should you need it. One of my favorite things are pull-out extension drawers. These are the most amazing things no matter what your age is, because we all know that if you're looking for a pot, it's always in the bottom, all the way in the back, and there we are on our hands and knees trying to dig out that pot. So these are a wonderful addition to any kitchen. And again, these are just changes that you can make in your home one by one as you're aging in place. And it's very helpful to have these things help you along the way. This is a picture of a kitchen that was redone, and this will show you how there's what we refer to as a 60-inch turning radius. So that is what the ADA requirement is for a wheelchair access. Induction stovetops. So those are wonderful things. If you're not familiar with them, they're safety. So what happens is you have to have a different set of pots and pans. They're magnetic. And the only way the surface remains hot is when these two things are touching one another. And then, this is something that your kids don't have to worry about whether or not you turn the stove off, and you don't have to worry about starting a fire. So those are really wonderful things. And you can see from the picture there, that induction stove is right where that little white cart is. And that little white cart underneath there can easily be removed. So if somebody was in a wheelchair, you can see by the sink there, it's really easy for them to wheel up to that particular sink and ultimately easily remove that cart, and you could easily wheel up to that stovetop surface as well. This is another wonderful thing. So this kitchen, you'll see whoever invented dishwashers and thought that they should go down to the ground, I don't know what they were thinking. And we're all bending down like crazy. So you'll see the lady on the left there, the dishwasher is raised off the floor. As you see in the picture on the right, and it makes things so much easier, not bending over completely to fill the dishwasher and or empty the dishwasher. And this particular picture also shows you so easily you would have wheelchair accessible access at the sink area as well. And this picture, this is showing you a lift. That lift is going to enable somebody who's in a wheelchair. They don't have to climb the stairs. This is a wonderful lift that can be put into a garage area. So it's indoors. You don't have to worry about the weather. If you have a larger garage area and you're able to do this, you'll see how easy that the people that don't need the access to get on here. Now this could be used for a wheelchair, could be used somebody using a walker or rollator, and all these things are so much easier than having to climb those 3 stairs, because those 3 stairs could be a fall hazard for someone. So this ramp is very helpful, and it's often used when people are recovering from a surgery. And the reason I say that is it's modular and it's removable. It's not something permanent. And they come in different lengths, different turning abilities, because of course every home is very different. And they also come in different lengths such that you have the right amount of space based on the home, so that someone who is using a wheelchair isn't trying to, go on a steep hill like this, trying to go up a ramp. This ramp, as you can see, is a more permanent surface. So this again is just another option that if something is more permanent, then maybe this becomes a decorative item to your home. And I know a lot of you are familiar with these chair lifts. So these are wonderful. You could be seated. It brings you right up to your 2nd floor. They have the ability to make turns. They have the ability to go up 3 steps to 20 steps to however many, because they're all custom made based on the home. That track that you see the seat on, that is what the seat is actually hooked to. And it basically just follows a rail. So a lot of people always ask me, what do these cost? They range anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. They can be more than that, depending if you need a Cadillac of what it does. It really depends on the number of stairs, as well as if there's any turns that are required for it to make as well. They even have like basic chairs, and then they have really fancy chairs. So all those things. There's also weight capabilities. If it's a larger person, it tends to be more money because it's a wider chair. It's a more substantial chair. As you can see, the lady who's in this picture, it's just a basic chair lift here. And lastly, I want to talk about slip-resistant flooring and curbless showers. So you'll see in this picture here, there's lots of things going on in this bathroom. So there are grab bars in the shower. There's that handheld shower head that can be pulled off for making things so much easier. There is a wall hung seat there that folds up. Those are wonderful additions. When that pulls down, those chairs go down to the floor, so you feel very secure that it's holding you. That has a comfort height toilet. Well, as I mentioned, it's much higher. It also has that grab bar assist to the right of it, so that helps somebody on and off. It has a roll-up sink, so should somebody be in a wheelchair, that's a really easy access as well. So we're going to talk about level 3. So as I mentioned, there's levels 1 through 3. So 3 being more intense things that can be done in your home. So one of the interesting things is a side-by-side front-loading washer and dryer. A lot of people don't like the front-loading washer and dryer, but the benefit of having them is that you're not reaching down, you're not bending down. They're all basically at your eye level. They have little lifts on them with drawers and things of that nature that brings them up to right in front of you. Another big wonderful thing is all the smart appliances that are out there. They even have smart medication dispensers, so you can keep your independence where, you know, it gets filled up. You could have a nurse come over, get everything set up for you, and it's like pressing a button and they dispense exactly what you need. Smart TVs, we talked about that. It's a wonderful way to keep communicating with your family. Smart appliances are wonderful as well. They have everything between refrigerators and stoves and microwaves. They all do all these wonderful things. It does require programming, I'll be the first to tell you that, but they are wonderful additions to any home. Motion lighting for nighttime pathway walking. So this is one of my favorite things that, you know, we all get up in the middle of the night, we need to use the bathroom. For whatever reason, we don't want to turn the lights on because we're convinced if we turn the lights on, we're going to be awake. So we try to walk in the dark, off we go. And next thing you know it, we're tripping over something. So motion lighting for nighttime pathway walking is a sensor light that goes under your bed, and it's soft lighting. So when your feet hit the floor, it picks up the motion and the light goes on, and it gives you just enough soft lighting to get you safely to and from the bathroom without having to turn lights on. And this way, there's nothing in your way. You can see where you're going. Even if you're squinting along the way, trying not to open your eyes up completely. Remote control lighting can control your security, your HVAC. Again, all these wonderful things that are available to you. This bathroom, I like the picture of this bathroom because it'll show you how it's a walk-in shower. There's no threshold, but these are also one of the major things they've got going on now is these wall-hung toilets and bidets, because they can adjust the height to whatever you want to, because they're wall-hung. They're not on the floor. They're also wonderful for cleanliness because you can clean right underneath them. You don't have to deal with cleaning around a base or anything. They even have them now where your iPhone can connect to how it flushes. So there's everything imaginable out there available to you. Okay, and then this last thing, we're talking about technology being a big part of staying connected. You know, just like you're doing today, you're on a Zoom, similar to this picture here with the, you know, a grandparent talking to their grandchild. Again, it goes back to that smart technology that can be put throughout your home. Once you determine that you want to stay in your home and you want to age in place and you know what works best for you, you might want to consider managed home services. And again, as I mentioned earlier, it's all about keeping that home maintained, similar to your health. You want to make sure that you're maintaining the home because it's going to maintain the value of your home, because you might need that money for long-term care, or you might need that money because you do decide in the future, and maybe you've stayed in your home, you've aged in place, so to speak, for the last 10 years, but you've decided that you do want to go to a senior living community because that makes you more comfortable, or maybe your children more comfortable, and you as a family have made that decision. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to maintain that home. And again, it's something that you can have a service provide for you. They'll do those monthly and annual inspections, that HVAC equipment, that attic, the roof, your electrical system. Make sure that sump pump and other plumbing is working properly. And obviously then taking care of the landscaping and the snow removal. Those are very important parts of how you're going to maintain the home as well. So at this point, we're going to talk about how can you afford to stay at home. So Susan, I'll let you take over from here.
Gina, I was cracking up when you were talking about the smart technology and the bathroom. I've been on many calls where someone has been in the bathroom and they haven't muted their phone, and I can hear
what's going on.
I can hear what's going on, or I can hear the flush. So remember to mute
yourself. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So, we're getting close to the end of our night. So how can you afford to stay at home? Well, a lot of that depends on how much you need with your personal care and your household upkeep. Does the home need a lot of repairs? And I think Gina did it amazing. I just love this presentation, breaking down the different levels of home modifications to help you age in place and working within your budget. But you have to look at your income and your savings. And there are plenty of services that are available, but many of them cost money and they're self-pay. One option is long-term care insurance. It may pay a portion for personal care if you have a policy and it covers home care. And it depends on the number of hours of care needed per day and if you qualify for 2 out of the 5 or 6 activities of daily living. Another option is to finance care through pulling equity from your home or a reverse mortgage. Family is not always going to be available or around to provide care. They might live elsewhere or they're still working. And many households may secure the services of a care manager. These additional topics we will start discussing in the next series. But I think the essence of the conversation is the key is to plan ahead before the crisis.
I'm asked over and over again, when is the best time I should begin my age in place plan? The answer is now.
Yep. As soon as
if you haven't started,
question,
that's your homework.
Yep.
Your homework for tomorrow is now. Start the plan, because the last thing you want to do is have a plan during a crisis, because that's never a positive. It'll cost you more and you make maybe not the best decisions because you're planning them or you're dealing with them during a crisis, which is why it's important to have a plan.
Yep, so important. So to summarize, we have a wonderful community right here in our own backyard. And no matter what your profession, your age, your income, religion, ethnic background, your aging in place consultants have professional resources in your community to assist you with your aging in place questions and needs. Please rely on us to connect you with these resources, even probably some you haven't even thought of. So here's a quote from Dr. Phil. This is one of my favorites. If you don't have a plan, days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and before you know it, you're looking back saying, I should have had a plan. We can't emphasize enough how important it is to have a plan. You may never need it, but what happens if you have a medical event, a fall, you're in a car accident, or you get COVID? We talk about keeping a file. Keep a file of resources, professionals that maybe you've met at an event, a library event, when we used to meet in person at a senior fair. Keep those resources in a folder. Talk to them, build a relationship, so when stuff happens, and it will, you have this file of who you've spoken to and who maybe you want to work with. So thinking and planning about your future will help reduce the emotional process of making an uninformed, knee-jerk reaction, rapid decision for yourself or your partner. Our next coming events, we talked about those early before we started. The 26th, we're going to be talking about your health plan to age in place. This is all about home care and care management. Then the following week, we talk about elder law and financial planning. And then the fourth series is senior living advisors and making that transition when home is no longer an option. You might need more care, you might need skilled care or memory care. So we're going to have a final conversation about that. And in closing, I want to share with you our website. It's ageinplace.org. And our email, which goes right to Gina, and she's Johnny on the spot with responding. It's chicagoland@ageinplace.org.
The general email is if you have questions or just curious about something, and maybe you were uncomfortable asking a question in the chat box, send us an email. We'll be happy to answer your questions so that you know where to go and what to think about and how to plan. We're here to help, and that's the whole purpose behind the National Aging in Place Council. There's a good team behind us, and if I personally can't answer your question, I will definitely resort with someone else on the team to make sure that we get the answers for you.
I think I'd point out too that it's a national website. So if you have family in another state, you can go to the website and look at the different chapters and tap into somebody that's in California or in New York and tap into some of those resources to help you. Wow, that was really great. Excellent conversation, Gina. I just love your visuals. It says so much about what you can do in a home.